It wasn't like anyone to tell Justin Bieber that I'm not into this. That Justin, I'm not into this. Because I was into it. I always let Justin Bieber know I'm into this. Because I was completely enthralled and I was happy with what Justin Bieber was doing at all times. And when I saw him in his moment of fame on stage in front of everybody, and he was doing what he does best, his performances, dancing the way he danced. He was a young man that I was into it. I was always into it. I liked what he was doing. I was completely... I just found him to be the brightest and most glamorous and important performer. Man, the guy was on stage and he said a couple of words to the crowd and the whole crowd loved him, and they went completely wild for Justin Bieber. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. It reminded me of some old films that I viewed of the Beatles. The way Justin Bieber gripped an audience and how he came across to all of these girls and all of these parents and other people who came from miles around to see this incredible young man perform before their very eyes. It was nothing short of magical. It was something incredibly just of the kind of importance that you don't find in any other performance. And I couldn't be more thrilled with this guy you would think that with the kind of romance that was going on, you would expect it to be some woman on stage who was just beautiful, that everyone was enlightened by, and it happened to be a young man that was on stage who was just as beautiful as a beautiful woman. And I don't mean to compare this young man to a woman, but that's how beautiful this guy was, that he had the kind of beauty and romance, and he was sophisticated to the point, the advancements in technology that brought him on stage and made him who he was to the crowd and to everyone who was a believer. It was the future, man. It was the future. It was Justin Bieber at his best, making his way in the world today, and he did a fascinating, immense job of a performance that I was completely blown away by his ability to capture an audience the way he did. And talking to him before or after any performance was always incredibly intense, and it made me feel something that I had never felt before in my life. And what Justin Bieber did that made me feel this way, I can't explain to anyone. I can't even begin to explain what Justin Bieber did that made me feel like I was on top of the world, because he brought me right there with him, and he was on top of the world, and whatever promises he made to me were realized with every performance that he ever put out there. And I was more than enlightened due to what he brought to the stage and who he was to everyone in every community that I had ever been a part of or even experienced communication with. And I was the type of person that was like, if he doesn't make sense to this audience, I would be completely surprised entirely, because I've never seen him not make sense to an audience ever. And he always made sense to his audience. And I remember a concert where he was like, well, this girl in the audience was like, I love you, Justin. And he was like, I love you too. And it's funny because he was just saying something that was normal for him to say to any female that told him that they loved him when he was on stage, and he just wanted to make sense to this girl and to the entire audience. And when he said that, the crowd just went wild and everybody cheered for him, and they were excited to hear Justin say anything. And when it was something like I love you too, it made them inspired to be at that show and to hear anything of romance out of Justin Bieber, because basically everything he said was something romantic to them, no matter what it was. And if it had love in the title or in the subject matter of the sentence, then That was something incredible to everyone who was at the performance.